In the journey of semen retention, a man's energy undergoes a profound transformation. As he conserves his life force, his vitality increases, his clarity sharpens, and his overall presence becomes more potent. This energetic shift is not just internal, but also radiates outwardly, affecting how others perceive and interact with him. For women, this shift is often sensed on a deep, subconscious level. While they may not always consciously understand what is drawing them to the retained man, there is an undeniable pull toward his grounded, calm, and confident energy. This energetic presence triggers a reaction within women that is often tied to their intuition. Women are inherently more attuned to subtle energy shifts. Whether in a social gathering or a one-on-one interaction, they can sense when a man is full of potent energy versus when he is drained or scattered. A retained man's ability to channel and focus his energy signals to women that he is self-disciplined, aware, and strong. These qualities, often valued in deeper relationships, make women subconsciously gravitate toward him. The subconscious response isn't always based on physical attraction, it transcends that. Women may feel a deep sense of safety around a man who practices semen retention because of the stable, non-reactive energy he exudes. This stability helps to put their own energies at ease. The retained man's presence brings an unspoken assurance that he is both emotionally and physically in control, allowing women to feel comfortable and unthreatened. This reassurance is rooted in primal instincts that alert them to the presence of a strong, protective individual. Additionally, the way retained men carry themselves can awaken deeper layers of a woman's psyche. They may feel subconsciously drawn to explore the spiritual depth or higher consciousness the man is embodying. The sense of mystery or depth is powerful, creating an emotional and psychological magnetism. The retained man embodies an aura of inner peace and self-control, which may subconsciously trigger a woman's desire to connect with someone who seems to have mastered not just his physical desires, but also his spiritual path. One of the most immediate subconscious reactions women may have toward a retained man is his perceived power and control. While this power is not the overt external display of dominance, it is instead a quiet, internal strength that manifests through his actions, words, and presence. Women, consciously or unconsciously, find this form of power magnetic. They're drawn to men who possess the ability to exert self-control, as it signals a deeper mastery over their own instincts and desires. This can be both an emotional and spiritual attraction. In the context of spirituality, women may sense that this control is not simply over external circumstances, but also over the internal world of thoughts and emotions. Retained men often display a high level of emotional intelligence and maturity. They don't react impulsively to external stimuli, which creates a sense of security and trustworthiness. Subconsciously, women sense that such men are less likely to be influenced by fleeting emotions or desires, and this creates a deeper level of respect and admiration. Women are often subconsciously attracted to men who can embody both strength and gentleness. A man who practices semen retention is likely to demonstrate this balance effortlessly. He may exude strength in his silence, in the way he holds space, or in his ability to lead without force. The attraction is not only based on physical traits, but more on an energy level that speaks to deeper human needs, such as safety, stability, and emotional support. This internal harmony becomes incredibly attractive to women who are on a similar path of self-growth. Subconsciously, a woman may also recognize that a retained man possesses the type of resilience that could benefit a relationship. The power to retain and transmute sexual energy into creativity, focus, and higher consciousness is seen as a form of endurance. This trait subconsciously signals to women that such a man can endure challenges, whether they are emotional, spiritual, or physical, making him an ideal partner for those who desire strength in both body and soul. While words can convey information, the true communication between individuals is often nonverbal and energetic. For retained men, their energy speaks louder than their words. Women can sense this subtle communication on a deep subconscious level. It's as if their energy is talking to each other before any verbal exchange takes place. This silent exchange is powerful and speaks to the ancient understanding that energy is the foundation of all connections. Retained men tend to radiate a calm, centered energy that women subconsciously recognize as non-possessive and non-intrusive. Unlike men who may be driven by desire or neediness, the retained man's energy does not invade a woman's space. It allows her to feel respected and in control of her own energy field. This non-intrusive nature is comforting, as it doesn't trigger any subconscious alarm bells that might go off when she feels that a man is seeking to gain something from her. The subconscious attraction also comes from the fact that a retained man has learned to be self-sufficient and self-aware. He is no longer seeking validation or approval from others, which frees him from the energy of neediness or desperation. This makes him magnetic to women who are sensitive to those energies. They can sense that he is whole on his own, and this creates a deep respect and admiration from a distance. His energy speaks volumes without him needing to say a word, and this unspoken communication often leads to women feeling intrigued or even in awe of him. Furthermore, women may begin to feel an unconscious connection to the man's spiritual journey. There's a deeper resonance that is felt in shared energy fields. If a woman is on a spiritual path herself, she might sense that the retained man is in alignment with a higher purpose. She may subconsciously recognize his discipline and growth as something she wants to mirror or even be a part of. This creates a level of attraction that goes beyond the physical and taps into something much more profound and spiritual. One of the most subtle but powerful subconscious reactions women have towards retained men is their emotional stability. A man who practices semen retention develops a higher level of emotional regulation. He learns to respond to life's challenges from a place of inner peace rather than being swept away by impulsive emotions. This emotional mastery is something women often crave, whether they realize it or not. Women, especially those who are on their own emotional journeys, subconsciously crave stability. A retained man embodies emotional steadiness that is grounding and soothing. He doesn't overreact to minor setbacks, and he remains calm and composed during stressful situations. This emotional maturity is magnetic because it signals to women that they can rely on him as a partner who will not add unnecessary chaos to their lives. His emotional steadiness he offers allows for deeper emotional connections as it provides a safe space for both parties to be vulnerable and authentic. Subconsciously, women also recognize that a man who has mastery over his sexual energy is likely to have mastery over other areas of his life. This implies that he is not driven by fleeting desires or needs, and his emotional responses are not dictated by external factors. His ability to maintain his emotional balance, regardless of circumstances, shows that he is in tune with his inner world and is capable of creating a harmonious relationship. This sense of emotional stability makes women feel safe around him. They can trust that he won't be impulsive or erratic in his actions. His calm demeanor offers a sense of reassurance that is often rooted in a desire for security and long-term partnership. This emotional steadiness tells women that he is capable of building a solid foundation for a relationship, something that is deeply desired for those seeking deeper, more meaningful connections. Attraction is not just about physical traits, but about spiritual resonance. A woman who is subconsciously drawn to a retained man might feel a desire for spiritual alignment. This is especially true if she is also on a spiritual journey. The retained man's energy can serve as a mirror, reflecting higher consciousness and a disciplined path towards self-mastery. This spiritual connection often precedes any intellectual or emotional understanding of why she is attracted to him. The subconscious mind may recognize that the retained man's journey is not just about self-control or discipline, but about spiritual growth. This growth is deeply attractive to women who are spiritually inclined, as it signals that the man is not just living in the material world, but is also engaged in a process of self-transformation and higher awareness. A retained man represents the possibility of evolving beyond base desires and connecting to the divine, and this is something that women often subconsciously seek in a partner. Furthermore, the idea of spiritual alignment is not limited to shared beliefs or practices. It extends to an energetic connection. A woman may feel that the retained man is in alignment with her own soul's path, even if they do not explicitly share the same spiritual practices. The energy he radiates becomes a guiding force that subconsciously awakens a desire for deeper connection to higher truths and universal wisdom. The subconscious mind is drawn to this spiritual alignment because it promises growth, expansion, and transformation. Women often find themselves subconsciously seeking partners who will help them grow, challenge them, and open new spiritual doors. A retained man naturally embodies these qualities, and this energetic resonance leads to an attraction that goes beyond the physical into the realm of the spiritual and metaphysical. Women are subconsciously drawn to individuals who embody peace within themselves. A retained man, by virtue of his practice, cultivates a state of inner calm and serenity. This peace is not fleeting or superficial, but is rooted in a deep, spiritual understanding and self-awareness. When a woman encounters such a man, she is naturally attuned to this inner peace, even if it is not explicitly verbalized. On a subconscious level, women are instinctively attracted to those who exude a sense of tranquility because it provides an energetic counterbalance to the chaos of daily life. This inner peace acts like a beacon, pulling women toward the retained man's calm presence. Women may feel that being around him allows them to also experience a sense of inner peace and relaxation, which is highly desirable in a world that often feels overwhelming or unpredictable. Furthermore, this inner peace reflects a deep level of spiritual maturity. The man's ability to find contentment within himself without relying on external validation or satisfaction is a trait that subconsciously signals emotional intelligence. This intelligence is incredibly attractive because it suggests that the man has reached a point of self-mastery and emotional stability, which in turn makes him more reliable and grounded as a partner. The reflection of inner peace is also magnetic because it subconsciously invites women to look inward as well. The retained man's serenity can serve as a mirror, encouraging women to contemplate their own emotional and spiritual state. This subtle call for introspection can awaken a desire for personal growth and self-improvement, making the connection between the retained man and a woman not just physical or emotional, but a catalyst for mutual spiritual evolution. One of the most intriguing aspects of the subconscious attraction between a woman and a retained man is the recognition of vulnerability. While semen retention is often associated with strength and control, it also requires a deep level of vulnerability. A retained man must confront his own desires, impulses, and ego, and in doing so, he becomes more attuned to his own inner world. This self-awareness and vulnerability can unconsciously resonate with women. Women are often subconsciously drawn to men who are not afraid to explore their own weaknesses and limitations. This vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but of strength, the strength to confront the most primal aspects of the self. A man who practices semen retention is actively engaged in facing these aspects, which makes him more in touch with his emotional world. This kind of emotional openness is often perceived as a rare quality in men, and women who are subconsciously attuned to such energy may feel an unspoken connection with him. Moreover, vulnerability can also indicate authenticity. A retained man, by practicing self-control, develops a deep sense of authenticity because his actions are aligned with his values and beliefs. This alignment fosters a sense of trust and respect. Women often find this authentic vulnerability refreshing, as it challenges the typical portrayals of masculinity that can sometimes suppress emotions or deny inner truths.
On a subconscious level, women may recognize that a retained man's vulnerability, though subtle, indicates a man who is capable of emotional intimacy and honesty. This emotional availability, paired with his strength, creates a powerful and attractive combination that speaks to a woman's deeper desires for connection and genuine intimacy. Semen retention is not just about abstaining from physical pleasure, it is about living with intention and purpose. A man who practices semen retention is often deeply focused on his personal and spiritual growth. This purpose-driven life becomes a key element in the subconscious attraction women feel towards such men. When a man lives with a clear purpose, he radiates a sense of direction and determination that is both magnetic and grounding. Women are often subconsciously drawn to men who have a sense of purpose, because it suggests that they are capable of making decisions, setting goals, and staying committed to their path. This purpose is deeply attractive because it signals to women that the man has direction in life, and by extension, can offer stability and leadership in a relationship. The energy of purposefulness provides a sense of security, as it demonstrates that the man is not easily swayed or distracted by external pressures or temptations. Moreover, the subconscious desire for purpose and meaning is universal. Women, especially those on a spiritual or self-growth path, are often subconsciously attracted to men who have a strong sense of their own calling or mission in life. The retained man's commitment to his spiritual and personal growth is a clear sign that he values self-mastery and is dedicated to improving himself and those around him. This devotion to a higher cause creates an aura of significance that can be subconsciously perceived as very attractive. Additionally, women may subconsciously sense that a purpose-driven man is more likely to engage in a relationship that is rooted in deeper connection rather than surface-level attraction. A retained man's focus on his spiritual journey often leads to a desire for meaningful relationships that transcend mere physical connection, which is highly appealing to women who also seek depth in their personal connections. The practice of semen retention requires a high level of self-discipline, and this is another subconscious factor that women find attractive. Self-discipline is a sign of strength, resilience, and maturity, all qualities that are deeply respected by women. While self-discipline is often seen as a personal trait, its impact extends to relationships and interactions with others, creating a magnetic pull. Women are naturally attracted to men who demonstrate control over their impulses, as it signals a deep understanding of delayed gratification and long-term goals. A retained man's ability to practice restraint is not just limited to his sexual energy, but extends to other areas of his life. This ability to make conscious choices and prioritize his goals over short-term desires makes him an incredibly reliable and stable partner. Subconsciously, women may feel a sense of admiration for the level of commitment and dedication required to practice semen retention. This admiration is often coupled with the desire to learn from the man's self-discipline and incorporate similar traits into their own lives. The man's energy, shaped by his practice, invites a sense of respect and reverence, which subconsciously increases his attractiveness. Moreover, women may be subconsciously aware that self-discipline contributes to a man's sense of integrity and honor. These are qualities that provide a solid foundation for a healthy relationship, as they signal trustworthiness and reliability. A retained man's ability to follow through on his commitments and maintain discipline even in challenging circumstances is a quality that women subconsciously seek in potential partners. Semen retention is closely tied to the journey of spiritual awakening and the expansion of consciousness. The practice encourages a deeper connection to the self, the universe, and the divine. Women who are subconsciously attracted to retained men may sense this heightened state of consciousness even if they don't fully understand it intellectually. This higher consciousness is both magnetic and mysterious, drawing women in with its invisible allure. The spiritual awakening that occurs with semen retention often manifests as a deeper understanding of life, love, and the universe. This wisdom is not necessarily verbalized, but it is felt through the energy the retained man emits. Women are drawn to this energy because it signals a man who has transcended basic desires and has a deeper understanding of existence. This resonance with higher consciousness creates a connection that is spiritual in nature and goes beyond the physical realm.
Moreover, the retained man's journey often involves a profound sense of inner peace and clarity. This clarity is deeply attractive because it signals that the man is not clouded by emotional turmoil or mental clutter. His ability to maintain mental focus and spiritual awareness, even in a world full of distractions, makes him appear wise and grounded. Women subconsciously sense that this clarity of mind and purpose is something they too could benefit from and are drawn to it. The attraction to a higher state of consciousness also stems from the fact that women, on a subconscious level, are naturally inclined to seek out individuals who can help them grow spiritually. The retained man, with his deep connection to his own inner wisdom, represents a potential guide on the path to self-realization. Women may sense that his presence can help elevate their own consciousness, and this idea of mutual spiritual growth is highly appealing. Neediness is often viewed as a turn-off in relationships, and one of the most compelling qualities of a retained man is his non-neediness. A man who practices semen retention is less likely to be driven by desires, whether they are emotional, physical, or material. This lack of neediness is subconsciously attractive because it signals to women that the man is emotionally self-sufficient and does not rely on external validation to feel complete. Women are naturally drawn to men who can stand on their own without constantly seeking attention or approval. A retained man exudes a sense of independence and autonomy that is both refreshing and appealing. This independence is often subconsciously perceived as a sign of strength and maturity, which makes the man appear more attractive in the eyes of women. Additionally, non-neediness signals to women that the man is not trying to manipulate or control the relationship. His focus is not on gaining something from the interaction, but on being present and authentic. This genuine energy creates a sense of trust and respect, as women can feel that they are interacting with someone who is not trying to use them for emotional or physical gain. The non-neediness of a retained man allows women to feel free and unencumbered in the relationship. There is no pressure to perform or live up to expectations, which creates a safe and comfortable environment for mutual growth and connection. This sense of freedom and authenticity is subconsciously magnetic, making women feel naturally drawn to him. The subconscious response women have to retained men is profound and multifaceted, encompassing energy shifts, emotional stability, spiritual alignment, and mutual growth. It is an attraction that is not rooted in superficial traits or fleeting desires, but in the deep, energetic, and spiritual connection that arises from self-discipline, emotional maturity, and conscious living. The retained man embodies qualities that women subconsciously desire: strength, authenticity, vulnerability, and purpose, which makes him a powerful force in both personal and spiritual connections. Through the journey of semen retention, a man taps into a higher frequency of energy, and in doing so, he naturally attracts women who are attuned to these higher frequencies. This attraction is not just a physical pull, but a profound resonance that touches the deepest parts of the psyche. Women are subconsciously drawn to the calm, grounded energy that the retained man exudes, finding in him not just a potential partner, but a mirror for their own spiritual and emotional growth. As the retained man continues to grow and evolve, so too does the connection he shares with the women who are subconsciously drawn to him. This mutual growth becomes the cornerstone of a relationship that transcends physical attraction and taps into the deeper dimensions of spiritual alignment, emotional intimacy, and conscious living. In this way, the practice of semen retention doesn't just transform the individual man, it has the power to transform his relationships and the way women experience connection on an intuitive, subconscious level.